thousands of years, Chinese citizens have been adapting their styles of architecture to meet their ever-changing needs, from the protective barriers and fortresses of the Great Wall, and the construction of the Summer Palace during the Qing Dynasty, to the unique modern architecture of Shanghai, including one of the tallest buildings in the world. China's always constructed beautiful and purposeful architecture. The Great Wall of China was constructed over 2,000 years for the purpose of protecting the northern people from foreign invaders. Construction of smaller walls happened over the course of 6 different dynasties. Eventually, more and more people built connections between different areas of the wall to create what we know as the Great Wall of China. Today, the Great Wall of China stretches over 13,000 miles and serves as a popular tourist attraction, with over 10 million visitors each year. It is the longest man-made structure in the world. The Forbidden City is the world's largest imperial palace and often considered to be one of the most significant Chinese architectural masterpieces. Located in Beijing, it was originally designed to be a palace for the emperor and his family during the Ming Dynasty, and served as the Chinese imperial palace until the Qing Dynasty, almost 500 years and 24 emperors later. Construction of the Forbidden City took over 14 years and involved over 1 million laborers. The Forbidden City contains 980 buildings and almost 9,000 rooms. Detail was very important to the construction of the Forbidden City and can be seen throughout the palace. For example, the colors red and yellow, which signifies wealth, power, and happiness in Chinese culture, are used throughout the Forbidden City, with the exception of the prince's quarters, which use green to represent prosperity. The Summer Palace in Beijing spans 2.9 square kilometers, made up of lakes, gardens, and palaces. The palace was first built in 1750, greatly destroyed during the War of 1860, and then restored to its original state in 1886. Although a natural landscape composed of rolling hills and bodies of water, the artificial features contribute equally to the beauty of the area. Every palace, temple, bridge, and hallway is so harmoniously synced with the natural beauty of the space. That is why this timeless array of architecture is still admired by people all over the world, more than 250 years after its initial construction. The request of the emperor was that the architect be designed to align with the Chinese philosophy that work must be balanced with life. With that being said, the palace had to be constructed to combine political and administrative, residential, spiritual, and recreational needs of the emperor. All of these needs require different styles of architectures. The challenge was to combine them in a way that complemented each other as well as the natural landscape it was being constructed on. The Chinese government works constantly to protect and preserve the original state of the palace. The palace has remained fully authentic to reflect the same intentions that were set forth during construction. On our tour of the Summer Palace, it was remarkable to be in such a vast and pure space directly in the center of Beijing. In recent years, China has experienced an economic expansion. Furthermore, China's booming population has led to a mass migration efforts to urban cities where citizens can better their lives. Specifically, in 1982, the Ren of Mao caused the migration of the Chinese rural population. Rural people were given permission to move to towns 100,000 people or less. Because of this population in urban cities, it increased to 30 to 40 million by 1985. This idea of moving rural, impoverished citizens to urban cities has continued today. In fact, the Chinese government planned to move 2 million people from their remote villages to the province's cities, in an effort that began in 2012 and will continue to do so into 2020. In ancient times, the gap between the rich and the poor was clearly evident. However, As the country continues to modernize and increasingly expand, the government looks to move people to urban cities to reduce poverty and close income gaps. Therefore, as the Chinese government worked to modernize the country, that meant that the architecture would modernize as well. When we visited Shanghai, the difference in ancient Chinese architecture to modern architecture was evident. It's clear that the Chinese government has invested lots of its money and effort to make this city a representation of the country's economic and population development. For instance, Shanghai inhabits the second tallest building in the world called the Shanghai Tower. This building was launched in 2017. It is 632 meters high and proves to utilize the world's latest technology. For example, the tower has wind turbines and uses double glass skin. This building proves the enhancement in the country's ability to compete with nations across the world in using the latest technology. Another example is Shanghai's night views. These are one of a kind. The city looks like New York City but shines like the Vegas Strip. When we took a nighttime cruise around the Bund, we saw the most incredible views. All the buildings are lit up in different ways and everything shines bright. As you can see, China's architecture has advanced enormously the past 40 years. From ancient temples to now, inhabiting the second largest tower in the world with the latest technology, the country has truly developed. However, it is important to remember that China continues to preserve its ancient architecture even when building new cities. That's why in many cities such as Beijing and Shanghai, you will see a mix of the latest technology and the preservation of ancient times. The country continues to value its history and never wants people to forget how the country began.